Hello again, Capricorn. This is your mid-monthly reading for March. We're going to be looking at the last 2 weeks for you guys. And please excuse the music in the background. My neighbor is like jamming out today. And you guys have something really interesting going on here. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading so you guys can get the full experience here. Once again, soulmate came out for you guys. Like, I didn't even get to pick it. It just flew right out of the deck for you. Now, with what you pulled with Lay Vampire, I've got some questions as to what is going on for you guys. So, from Lay Vampire, you have seduction, allure, desire, and manipulation. I'm going to go ahead and read all three aspects of this card, the blessing, the curse, and working with this card. So the blessing says you are now able to discern much more clearly between people who are healthy for you and people who you would do well to avoid. You are no longer feeling guilty for saying no to attractive advances. The curse says that it is time to reassess a friendship or the kinds of people and situations you find attractive. Are you inviting unwelcome dramas and situations into your life? And then working with this card says that you are able to resist unhealthy advances from manipulative people at this time. You are no longer available for others to make use of. So there is seduction. And then on top of that, soulmate. Now, here's one of the parts that I don't actually read when it comes to the cards from Chakra Wisdom. The woman that created this deck actually has short stories that go along with these cards. And this one, really kind of drives the point home. This is not about finding your soulmate so much as it has to do with the way that you communicate with yourself. Now, I know you guys have seen this card before and you have heard what this card is about. I'm going to go ahead and read the legend so you can get, the gist of the story behind it. It is time for him to leave her again, to use the script he always does at this point. He even knows her next line. She will say, "How can you do this to me?" But unexpectedly, she says, "I love you." The words of the script die on his tongue. He struggles to get them out. Just a few words and he will be free. But they won't come. Suddenly, he clasps her to him. He loves her. This is the true freedom he sought. Now, the inspiration here says that to enjoy the beauty of a rose, we must risk being pricked by our inner thorns. This offers a new way to live. The best incentive to change is love. And then the personal question is, what truth am I embracing? This card indicates no longer living a lie. And the key ideas are speaking your truth, choosing love, freedom through transformation, resistance to commitment, an unexpected outcome in new truths. So, what's up, Cap? You have some seductive advances, and there is a part of you that is like, I don't know about this. And then soulmate is suggesting that there are some changes going on with that inner conversation that you have with yourself when it comes to... All right, Capricorn, here we go. Here is the energy coming through. Oh, yeah. So the Eight of Cups is about moving on emotionally before we do physically. Basically, this card is like that overwhelming emotional feeling of just being done with something and now needing to physically walk away from it. It's like, you started something here, but it's no longer emotionally fulfilling you anymore. And it's like, yeah, I'm done with this, but it's like you're still with it. You need to walk away from it now. And in the past, well, now... The Nine of Swords is the past coming through can suggest why you're pulling what you are with the Oracle cards. I hate that damn card. But it's the things that we have to experience. Otherwise we learn nothing. The Nine of Swords is all that mental bullshit that we do to ourselves. That mental anguish, that torture. And emotionally you're done with it. I hate seeing emotional backing to the sword suit, but it being the 8 rather than the 5 is better. But clearly something happened in the past that was shitty. It made you feel really bad, and then emotionally you're just wore out and just drugged down. And it may have to do with advances from somebody who maybe is not so good for you. But, you guys still pulling soulmates is that, you know that inner conversation has to change. And in the present. So, now, the Knight of Pentacles. This could have to do with another earth sign, seeing it in the present position, but this could also be you receiving messages having to do with financial gain, new work, financial success. The Knight of Pentacles is slow moving. He's the slow, methodical planner, right? But I don't like seeing that 9 and that 8 surrounding it. I certainly don't feel like this is you. The Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, man, I don't like any of the pentacles in reverse. It drives me nuts with the court cards. It's like being more concerned with possessing something than anything else, And if this is another person, it's like with seduction, it's like they only see you as something to possess. And that's it, instead of being that dependable person, right? But, again, with the Knight of Pentacles, I'd like to think that this is, good financial messages coming through. But, as a person, when you look at the Knights, they're like on the teetering point. It's like, are you a child or are you an adult? And that's kind of like where they are. That teenage mentality. Oh, well, no. Okay, so seeing the King of Cups as future conditions and the Nine of Swords as the past coming through, ooh boy. This could be a shitty water sign. And seeing the Knight of Pentacles above him, and then the 9, it's like false messages, false sense of security. Oh my goodness, Cap. Yeah, no. Now, the King of Cups, when you're looking at water signs in the reverse, the King of Cups, to me, is more like, he's the one that's like clingy. He's like too dependent. He could have addiction problems. And then the other part of that with the water signs is like emotional manipulation. But, again, seduction and soulmate, it's like needing to walk away from somebody that's no good. No good for you. Clearly, with the 9 of Swords coming through. Oh, the best path to follow, the moon, shit. Seeing the moon there immediately to me says that you need to start tapping into your intuition when it comes to this situation involving this person here. Because he's no good. He, she, whoever that person is no good. No good at all. The moon, too, when you're looking at situations involving relationships with people, immediately says that it's like a tricky situation. They may not be as, they put themselves forward as, like, not as, I feel like he's putting up a front. Whoever this person here is like putting up this mask, and you're not really seeing who they really are with the moon sitting there. And the moon is saying that, again, confusion blocking your intuition. Your mental thought is not helping you right now, clearly, with the 9 of Swords coming through. This is saying that you really need to tap into the intuition and pay attention to your dreams and the subconscious mind. It's like digging deep into the subconscious. Looking deeper into what the situation is involving this person here. Because again, with what's going on here, I feel like false sense of security. He's just bullshitting you, is what I feel like. And there's a part of you that knows it. But for some reason, you're not walking away from it yet. It's like you're still hanging on to this. But why? Why? Man, oh man. Very nice. So in your environment, the Seven of Wands, this tells me that, I mean, look at it. You understand. You understand that this person is fake, that they're just causing you mental anguish. And emotionally, you're like, just done with it, done with it. Seeing the Seven of Wands in your environment says that not only are you done, but now you have an opportunity to stand up and use your voice and say, I'm not taking this shit anymore. This is how I feel. This is where I stand. I love the Seven of Wands because of that feeling, especially when you have stuff like this going on. There's that powerful feeling there of, don't fuck with me. I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. And it being in your environment is saying that it's like you're almost there. It's like you're almost there. You're almost ready to walk away. But for some reason, this person keeps popping up. It's like they just keep popping up. Your hopes and your fears, and justice makes sense. It makes sense. Seeing justice in your hopes and your fears is like hoping for that balance, that fairness, and that balance. Justice is one of those cards where, it's difficult to surround yourself with that feeling of, okay, I'm going to let the universe take care of this. I'm going to release this to the universe. The universe is going to deal with the wrongs that have been done to me, And one of the things that I always say with this is that you can't place your focus on that feeling of, boy, I hope this person gets what they deserve. You have to let the universe take care of those situations for you. You have to just release it. But seeing that there tells me that, clearly you're pissed off about how this person made you feel and the bullshit that they're telling you, and emotionally you're done with it. But justice is saying too that, whatever wrongs that you may have done here, you need to make amends for that too. And I feel like that has to do with seduction. Because, we allow ourselves to get into those situations with people because, there's a need. There is a need to feel something. But, seduction is saying that this is no good for you, It's truly this person wanting to use you. And you know it and you see it, but this person just keeps popping up. And you're like wanting that fairness and that balance. Man, oh man, Cap. Okay, so in the outcome... the Three of Cups. Very nice. Very, very nice. I see that as you pulling out of this just fine. The Three of Cups is celebration, but to me it's a support system. I feel like what's going to happen out of this is that, you're going to pull that feeling of support from the people that do actually care about you and do love you. As a matter of fact, we're going to pull a clarifier on that. The World completion. Yep. There's going to be a cycle ending here in regards to this person. Seeing the World in the Three of Cups, absolutely. That to me is you celebrating your success and being able to walk away from the things that are not fulfilling you anymore. And this person is definitely not fulfilling you, because if they were, you wouldn't be seeing this shit here. And looking at it this way, it's like, with the Eight of Cups being the signifier, had it been anything else, I would have been like, oh yeah, this person's great and they're celebrating. No, because it immediately blocks it. It's like, nope, you don't go from here to there. Especially with Justice sitting there and then the Seven of Wands underneath her. Yeah. But, again, the moon being your best path to follow is really saying that it's time to tap into your intuition when it comes to this person. Because and you see and you feel, it's no good. And again, that's where seduction is coming in, I feel like, and then soulmate, again, changing that inner conversation with yourself. I mean, look at them, man, oh man, Cap. But I really feel like this person is just, it's almost like they look at you as something for them to own. And that goes back to the Knight of Pentacles too. I mean, if you're feeling like this person is just using you, you really need to start communicating that. And then not only that, but again, with soulmate, that inner conversation, communicating with yourself, you know, and allowing the situation to unfold the way that it needs to. But I feel like that with trust is allow and trust the universe to take care of the situation. It's like, clearly, I feel like in order to get to that feeling of completion with the world and that celebration of the Three of Cups, you really need to just, let things, release it to the universe and trust that it will be corrected. But, you really need to look at the communication, not only that is coming through to you from somebody else, but, you really need to look at the communication that you have with yourself, that inner conversation, And again, with seduction, very rarely do I ever see this card pop up. But for it to pop up with soulmate and then seeing the King of Cups, clearly it's not going to resonate with everybody, but I feel like, there's a reason why it's coming out this way and I'm feeling it this way. Don't allow other people to use you, And if you are in a situation like that right now, again, seduction talks about how this is a time that you will clearly see that and understand it now. And you start to change your situation because of it. Okay, Kat, so this one was a little bit different. And, immediately when I seen soulmate fall out again, I thought, oh boy, this is going to be another deep spiritual one. But seeing seduction made me really question what was going on. This is one of those cards that I don't take lightly when it shows up because it talks about letting other people use you and you needing to recognize that now is the time for you to stop that you can see clearly through these people. Now, I feel like that's kind of what's happening with this king here. Had the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Swords not shown up around him, the situation would have been different, but I really feel like this is somebody who is more interested in using you and not really interested in who you are. Now, I think that there's a part of you that knows that because otherwise these two wouldn't be showing up. Now, clearly this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but I feel like maybe that there's some of you out there that need to hear this, that this person is not who they seem to be. Not with these cards showing up. There is some mental hurt involving this person. And I feel like they're trying to give you a false sense of security. That's immediately how I feel looking at the way things are unfolding here. And then the Eight of Cups again is saying that emotionally you're done with this. It's like and you're done with it, but you need to walk away now. But I feel like that's exactly what you do. The moon's sitting there as your best path to follow. I love it when it shows up in that position because, the moon can be one of those cards where, there's confusion, there's fear, and there's all these other things, but there's a beauty behind the moon. It's really tapping into that intuitive nature that I know that you guys have, right? So this is time to pay attention to your intuition when it comes to seeing through other people's bullshit. And clearly you do, because with these two right here, absolutely, you're like, no, I'm done with this. I'm done with this shit. This is how I feel. And you are communicating that. But then more than that, you are changing that inner conversation with yourself. The communication that you're having with the universe is starting to change right now because with these two showing up as the outcome, absolutely. Absolutely. There's going to be a sense of completion when it comes to dealing with this person. And you are going to have support. The Three of Cups for me, immediately when I see it in difficult readings, says to me that support from the people that actually care about you and love you is going to come through. And you're going to be celebrating. It's like doubled here. It's going to be hard as hell to walk away from somebody that you may be used to dealing with. But you can do it, right? Obviously you do. And justice is saying that you're wanting that fairness and that balance. But if you don't get it, you're going to walk away. Now, with allow and trust trust and allow the universe to deal with this situation. It's one of those things where, again, like when justice shows up, you have to release those feelings to the universe. Because as soon as you let it go, all of a sudden things start to shift and change in your favor. But you have to allow things to happen the way they need to and trust that the universe will take care of the situation for you. If some of you are dealing with somebody who is using you because they think they can.